Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We're your hosts. I am Joe.
I'm Randy.
This is episode 134 of our show, and the date is Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. Yeah. Hats off to Larry Elliott. Nobody will get that reference.
I do not get it. I don't even know what you're talking about, dude.
It's an ode song.
Oh.
Hey.
Ooh.
David Will here finally made it on time.
Way to do, Dave. That's how he do.
He's a busy dude. He's a busy dude, so.
Yep. He's got adventures to write, things to do.
Hold on just a second.
Games to write, all that good stuff. What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing?
You got time for your hold on just a second?
Yeah, I have to switch headphones out.
You switching. Iron Man's in the house. Who else? Larry Ryan at Aqualith Media is listening from work. Good man. Iron Man worked in the garden. That was a beautiful day for that in Michigan. Hyperborn Heretic, what is up? Green Apple. Dang, look at this. All right, the Crafting Gamer. Patrick's here. Sweet. Got the sweet crowd today. Nobody's messing around. Patty's at work. As long as you're listening, it's all good. That's very cool. You guys have your priorities straight. Biggest Geek is first, work second. Understood.
Thank you. You didn't hurt yourself, did you?
We can hear you, Joe. You're talking. I don't know if you mean to do that. Mr. Bovan, a beard is gone. Whose beard is gone? This one? I still got a beard. Joe still got a beard. I did get a hair trim, though. The hair is quite a bit shorter now. Heretic says it. Mr. Max Bovan is done working for the day. That's what I'm talking about. Me too. I worked out yesterday, hit the gym, and I started on the elliptical for a while, and I went to get on the bike, and I was like, what am I doing? The weather's beautiful. Ran home and hit the bicycle. It was fun. So Patrick said, a lot of people listening at work. That's good.
All right.
Clearly their employers know what's important.
I have these Bluetooth headsets, Soundcore.
Huh, okay. Yep. All right.
They're really inexpensive, but really good.
Oh, okay.
And they're, instead of being white, they're black, which is also good because you don't want white crap hanging out of your ear.
No, you're inclusive now. It's better than it's black.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Oh, hey, Mr. Max Boivin, did you get your delivery?
You send him something?
Oh, it's hush-hush, but I was just curious if he got his delivery. Keep it on the down low.
Okay, gotcha. We love secrets. Yes.
I'll let you know when we're done.
Martinson says, Joe, that's racist. And he agrees.
Yeah, I've got black in my ear.
Yeah, you're black.
Oh well. We've always got delays should be expected, I guess.
Harman said earplugs should be earwax color. I think I agree with that.
Flesh tone would be cool.
Would be. They would know nothing. You see nothing. And you like it. So I didn't game this week. How about you?
Nah.
Well, we got hosed. Our Lord happened to rise from the dead this past weekend. Well, not this weekend, but we're celebrating it. So we didn't.
Hey, that's a little blasphemous.
Just a little, because I do.
The Lord rising from the dead didn't hose anybody except maybe Satan.
Well, yeah, just a celebration of his resurrection has put a damper on our gaming this past weekend.
Correct.
Okay. That's definitely a good thing to damper a gaming, but people don't want to hear about that, which they should. We should hear a lot about that. Anyway, so didn't game. Did exercise like a madman. Me and the boy Greg, Joe was talking to a dog or something. Weird.
I am.
So, we went for a bike ride. We were gonna do like 15 miles. It was the first ride of the year. We ended up doing about 30. It was pretty cool. So we got a little crazy.
There he is, or she is.
Oh, that's the new one. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she likes the.
She's looking for goodies. There's nothing on there for you to eat.
Oh,
A plot hound.
what kind of hound is she?
Heard of that?
Plot hound.
Plot. Plott.
Hey, DM Blackwall's in the house. Welcome, sir. Welcome. They were great last week. We had a good time having with him and Nathan.
Yes, we did.
Oh.
It was a good show.
So what was your week like, Joe?
I had my first. No, was that last week, or is this my first full week? No, last week was my first full week.
So
yeah, well, last week was my first full week not being on the overtime list, so that was good.
Oh, very cool.
And today they tried to get me to take some extra mail today because the mail was light, so I could without it being, and I was like, nah, no thanks. And it's good. I'm glad I did because wife was a little under the weather, so I ended up needing to do a few things after work.
Yeah, with the nice weather.
The dog that you just saw, I took her out for a stroll and did a few other things.
Does she walk pretty well on a lead? Does she do well?
No. We've only had her for a little while, so she needs some training.
Yeah.
She's a hound, so her nose is on hyper alert.
Right.
Seems like. But she's a really nice dog.
Oh, cool. Good deal. Well, we did. You want to jump into the first topic? Or anything else you want to say?
I'm going to say, Elizabeth, don't chase your tail in here. Go somewhere else. Hey. Go get your mama. Go on. Go.
All right. So Joe is busy.
She's not listening. She's not listening. Yeah. No. There.
That's my partner.
All right. All right. Well, no gaming this weekend. How about we jump into, let's see, how many we have here? We got 12 according to the eyeball on my screen.
I did want to say something about Hyperborea. And I know that Legion of Myth may or may not show up. We're supposed to be running Hyperborea this month. It's not going to happen. The past weekend, we didn't think about Easter, and we had planned a big to-do, and it didn't start. And Cabin Con's just around the corner, so Hyperborea is going to wait. So you're not going to get us to get a Hyperborea report anytime soon. Halcyon H. I haven't recognized that one before. Is that from DV Army? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe that's a DV Army guy. If it is, then cool. If not, still cool.
Yeah, Legion is lurking, which is fine. So unfortunately,
we appreciate the lurkers.
I watched a few of the videos over at Legion or started to watch them. I watched all of them all the way through, but Hyperborea. We're going to try to delay and come back after Cabin Con and really get into Hyperborea. I've been recruiting some people to play, and I really hope I brought some video equipment. I've got some. I hope to use it and use that to record us playing, and people can go, oh yeah, watching people play D&D is not very cool. So we'll see what happens. Hey, the Dungeon Minister, welcome, sir. He's in the house. Wrong one. I keep missing it. Lurkers on the
Hello,
deck.
Mr. Minister.
Oh, Halcyon H. I know him. That's one of our Cabin Con dudes. All right. Hyperborean Heretic says he's going to pick up our slack. He's going to run Hyperborea Friday night. Good
deal.
Yeah.
Yes, Green Apple, we are one away from 400.
We're giving something away at 400, right?
Yes. Well, definitely at 5.
At 5.
I think we said something about 400.
Okay. So next week I'll mention the 400 giveaway. I'm going to give away something. I got some crap I don't need. Somebody else needs it. So cool. Almost 400 subs. That is awesome. Mr. Boisvert, congratulations to him. He broke 300 this week.
Yes, he did. Congratulations. Good job.
He's on fire. So that is very cool. All right. Yeah, let's jump into the first topic. And it was a bit of I told Joe before we started, it was a bit of a clickbait sort of title, but it is
in a way.
In a way,
I mean, it's a topic that's kind of gone around the interwebs here and there in the hobby. OSR Glut, there's a lot of OSR out there. Is it time? Is it time to move on? I think. What did I put in the? I put in the notification that I sent out. something equally clickbaity.
Yeah, I think you did. I don't know.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find it right quick.
Yeah, but I was just thinking.
Yeah, the fate of OSR.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. And Legion of Myth last week on the Chill stream mentioned this, and I heard Max at Legion of Myth say it too. He's got enough OSR games, or at least fantasy OSR games. And was it Legacy Game Mastering made a few comments in a video last week about that. And I got thinking, because part of what I want to do, this is the truth, and I just deep down, I want somebody to dethrone WoTC.
No somebody is going to do that.
Why not?
No one somebody is going to do that right now. They have too much. They got too much momentum, even though they've had some bad press, early this year, and there's a lot of us that they've gone sour. All right, hold on a second.
Sure.
You need to get out.
So you think the idea is they have too much momentum. You can't catch them no matter what you do.
Well, it's just not. It's the timing.
Yeah. See, Ironman says not real clickbaity. You have to wait to go before you reach master clickbaiter. And DM James is here. He says he glutted his group on OSR Sunday night for hours. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
My thought is, so, but I don't want to give up. I mean, I don't want to, and by that I mean I hope no one I don't think they're going to, but I feel like if you're going to beat WoTC, I see David Wills coming in with some reasonable stakes. Who cares if anyone dethrones WoTC? Make the game you want, play the game you want. Yeah. I get it. But you know what? Good point. DM Blackwall says Paizo did a few years. It can be done. Yeah, they did for a while. I just would like to see, I'll be honest with you, it's just a justice drink. I mean, they've screwed the D&D game that I loved for years. And I want to see them fall. I just do. I don't find anything about WoTC appealing. And I think whatever they're just destroying D&D, and that's fine. But I would think, is there no way to make a game? Is that what you're saying? There's no way to make a game. I'm not sure if Joe's hearing this. That can.
Yeah, I can hear.
Is there no way to make a game that can rival D&D? Is that what you're saying? It's impossible.
There are all kinds of games that already rival D&D, depending on what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about just getting market share, it's difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast made a mistake a few years back with 4th edition.
Right.
But leading up to 4th edition, there was a whole other set of things they did wrong too. So it's not just 4th edition, but they're not doing that anymore. They're not doing that same thing.
Yeah.
Plus, we have the internet more than we did back then. There's a lot more going on right now on the internet. And
a lot more going on. Okay, what does that mean? To distract you from making a game?
No, it is. There's more. They have more of an ability to do their marketing campaigns on the internet, and there's more people on the internet to attract. Right. It's a different market right now. It's different marketing strategies.
Yeah, Green Apple and also Halcyon H thinks it's the brand recognition. People don't want to learn new systems. I can be guilty of that. Halcyon H says it's like brand power means a lot. When you say role play, you coincides with D&D. When majority of people call facial tissues Kleenex. Yeah, Kleenex. Yeah, that's true.
And 4th edition was not the mass market appeal.
Nope.
5th edition is much more of a mass market appeal.
And I think
as long as they're trying to do mass market appeal, they're going to get a much more massive market than an OSR title that is going to be a niche product forever. Because it's niche, because it has an appeal to fewer people. So there's no way around that.
Think Darth has it? It's like Microsoft market share of PC users. Even Apple has not been able to knock them off that peak. I guess so. So the new 5th edition, which comes out in 2024, which is apparently that's what they're calling it, 5th edition revised or 5th edition. They said they're just going to call it 5th edition, which I think it's hilarious.
I knew it wasn't good. I knew that there was a code name that they had.
It's
I thought they were going to go 6th edition, but
Dungeon Minister. What does this mean? I like micro market appeal. Oh, okay. Or stale market. Give me that old time religion. Okay.
And you know what? You can make decent money in a niche market. So
Yes.
there's no real reason for people to not make a game, see if they can get enough of a following. There's billions of people in the world, so who cares if you get your audience is 1,000 or a few hundred or a couple thousand or something like that, compared to Hasbro / what Wizards of the Coast, their million,
2 million.
few million.
Yeah.
Who knows what their audience is all together, but right. So you just make a good product, and if you make it appealing, you will attract an audience, as long as you stick to it, I think.
Yeah.
It's not 100%. It's not there's no guarantees that you're going to make a living off of, or make a side hustle off, or gain enough attraction with your game offering, whether it's OSR or not.
You don't think you could? There's no way to. That's the best you could hope for as a side hustle. You think?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's no guarantee that you're going to get anything.
True.
So you just make a good game, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Martin says, "Wait till Critical Role makes their own game. That may be the best group to knock off WoTC." Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be a victory. I think that's going to be a sidestep to the similar kind of woke.
Yeah,
crap.
they'll have the similar product.
Yeah.
It'll appeal to the same crowd.
Yeah. Looks like Flady's in the house. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Flady.
It does have built-in recognition. It has name recognition. That's true.
Right. It has name recognition. It has wide audience appeal, and that's hard to overcome. So you have to have a couple of things to beat that. And I think one of them is you have to go after the same niche. You have to play in their niche to beat them. You have to be better at their niche than they are.
Because something that we would probably produce would not appeal to, as Ryan David would say, the sparkle trolls. They'd be turned off.
Right. Or just, you don't even have, it doesn't have to go to there. It just has to have a wider appeal. And deadly, gritty-ish games don't have as wide an appeal as softer games.
Yeah.
In our hobby.
Right.
I mean, it's obvious. People like DnD, the current version of DnD, which isn't the same as the old school version of DnD, where it takes you 2 minutes to make a character, and 30 seconds or 1 second, one bad roll, and you're dead.
Yeah, like Martinson.
And, well,
dead. OSA, first encounter, first attack.
Yeah, and you just roll up a new character. 5 minutes later or less, you're in the game again. So who cares?
Yeah. Welcome, Tonka Todd. Glad you made it, and you and Flady won. If I didn't mention that, Patrick said something. I'm not sure I know what this is. How about Tales of the Valiant? Oh, is that Cobalt Press's new name for their Black Flag? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing much. So in the end, whether the OSR is saturated or not, I mean, I personally don't care what people make a OSR game or not. I think I'm starting to get full of my OSR games. Yep.
And David Will, biggest geek, is some people just like the newest, shiniest thing. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, and I think, well, Flady's kind of got it, and so did David Will. He said, I'd recommend just focus on making something you like, know is good, and if it's legit, people will catch on. Don't chase the dragon or someone else's dreams for success. Yeah, I think, yeah, and I'm not looking for the success. I'm not even looking for me. I just would like to see WoTC get kicked in the nuts really hard, because they seem to escape the whole OGL debacle, which annoys the crap out of me.
Well, I think some of we'll have some links in the show notes. We've got some videos and articles and stuff, and people will say that there is an oversaturation of OSR products. And there are a lot of them, but does that mean it's oversaturated. Does it mean there are too many? What does that mean, that there are too many? Too many for what?
I would say there's probably a few and true, what does that even mean? Because just for Randy, I'm kind of like Max at Legion. I've got kind of, now I have to admit, I always get drawn when I see a new one. Like, I am tempted for $88 to kickstart the new Swords and Wizardry complete revised or whatever, which is silly because I've already got that version of the game, and I just don't know why I keep getting called to that.
Right.
True.
So David Will brings up this point, pretty much a corollary to what I was saying. I don't care if it's saturated or not, because none of them do what I'd wanted. Right. So like, I don't know, did I just say this? Or was it before? What about board games? Does anybody complain that there are too many board games? Probably somebody does.
Right.
But as a market, as a niche of the game industry, there's so many board games, and there are a lot of board games that all do the same kind of things. So that's just kind of how these things work. There's a lot of cars, aren't there? There's a lot of different car manufacturers, a lot of different kinds of cars, although they are very, very similar, very, very similar. So with you got a lot of board games, you got a lot of tabletop games. I don't think too much is too subjective a term. Oversaturated, it kind of is as well. Some people complain that it's not fractured. There's so many different games that nobody plays just one game.
Yeah.
There's not just one game. Well, why should there be? I don't think there's any need. There's no need for there to be only one game. We don't need that. We need good games. Who cares how many there are?
I think Dungeon Minister thinks there might be too many board games, mainly because a lot of board games have one gimmick and no depth. Okay. I'm not a board game guy, so I can't comment on that.
Right. But that's not a function of there being too many. That's a function of those particular games not being good.
Right.
So are there too many, or is it this, there are a lot of games that you don't like? These people don't like, or those that people don't like. There's probably some out there that you could perhaps subjectively say bad. They are bad games. I don't know.
Because I feel weird. Like I looked at Shadowdark and I thought, oh, that's not too bad. And then when I got the free PDF, I was like, oh, not impressed. This is something I've seen. Granted, you can say it's more of a 5e thing, but it just doesn't look interesting. It doesn't look like inventive at all. However, I did see the Sword and Wizardry thing, and I was like, I read it and I listened to the spiel, and I'm like, man, I would like to have the book. You know what draws me more now that I'm older is how cool the book looks. I hate to say it, but that's true. That's my guilty. I'm guilty of that. Like, because I scream about Kevin Crawford's books because they're so cool looking, but man,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess in the end, and I was never going to say the OSR. I really was never going to come to the conclusion we need to move on from the OSR. I was really just thinking maybe it's just an arena of games that need to have it, that has its niche and people love it. Yeah, Mr. Bob N says it. For all those games you think superfluous, for someone, that's his favorite. Yeah, fair enough.
There are a lot of people who play a game like, let's say, Legend of the Flame Princess.
Yeah, Lamentation.
Right? Well, Lamentation, not Legend. Lamentation of the Flame Princess.
Mm-hmm.
I looked through and I said, this isn't for me. And so you could say it's maybe one too many. But there's a lot of people who like it.
Yeah.
And then that's fine.
8 Mobius 8, welcome. Even some bad games are good, depends on the person. Yeah, like I love the game. I think I love what it used to mean to me more than I love the game. Talisman. Joe likes Talisman. Joe likes it. I think it's it's too unpredictable it's just too slow for me. And I think the older I get, slow is just something I don't like. Oh, yeah. Uncle Todd. I wonder how important length of play. Yeah, it does a lot for me for board games. I'm not into board games. If it takes more than 2 hours to play a board game, I'm mostly out.
Talisman is one of those. It's okay. So D&D and Talisman can fill in a similar niche, right? With
Mhm.
Talisman having less investment long term,
Yeah.
but for the time you're at the table, it
Mhm.
does similar things. Like you're there for multiple hours, hanging out, eating food, joking around, doing whatever. I know some people don't like doing the joking around thing when they're playing D&D. I don't. That's weird to me. Anyway, you're having a good time over the long haul.
Yes.
And Talisman is a long haul game.
Yeah,
You can't do that game in less than an hour. You can't,
and that game
unless
is fun.
you're real lucky.
I think if you don't have people that care about winning, what I mean is real board gamers are competitive. In board games, I'm really not. I do love, on one hand, I love the chaos of Talisman, but the length is fine. You're right, Joe. If we're having fun, shooting the crap and just, whatever happens, happens, and been playing for 2 hours, you're like, where are we? Well, we've been moving. I thought, Randy, I think you have 4 talismans. Why do I have 4 talismans? It's just, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the fun, right?
Right. And with role-playing games,
Right.
they are multi-hour long, can be long haul. There's been a push. I don't know so much now, but maybe last year, the year before, heard a lot of people talking about mini sessions. Hey, let's get together and we play for a half hour or something like that.
Wow.
And even an hour seems like a mini session.
Why are you pulling your dice out for an hour? I don't get it.
No. So, hey, long shot.
Okay, I'm gonna have to backtrack because RPG is Dumb ran me through an adventure for about an hour and a half. And it was a solo adventure, which I guess that's different. And it was like a 1-issue miniseries of my superhero riffs guy, Nightlight, and that was really fun. Which, by the way, if he's listening, I can't wait till you feel better and I do issue number 2. Arnman's got the right of it. We've said this. I think finding the right players is more than finding which rules. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, I think we've said things similar to that, or more in a parallel where we say we can have fun in our gaming group because we know each other, and with all the relationships we've developed over the years, we can play anything and still have fun.
And that's what Dungeon Minister echoes that. He says a bad game with a great group can be a lot of fun. A great game with a bad group or group you don't fit in, torture. I got a story here. When I was in Gen Con, had been during the 2nd edition era, we played a game where this guy wanted a lunch break. We were running in a tournament, an AD&D 2nd edition tournament module, and he had his wife sitting in DM. She didn't know the rules. She had played once in her life. And she's reading from the script. Nice lady. She couldn't, and there's no way for her to be a good DM. There's just no way. She's just reading. But it was a group of random people, and we all just clicked.
Right.
And we had an amazingly good time. We also had a lot of compassion for her because she's like, what does it mean to make a saving throw? It says that here. And we're like, oh, we should roll against this number poison. If we don't make it, then we could die or whatever. She goes, okay, well, then make one of those. She was doing her best reading the script, but the guy just left her to it. So I think it was fun. And I think it was the people. Yeah. Yeah. Your opinion. Who decides what a bad game is? What is a bad game?
Right.
Yeah. DM Blackwall.
It's very subjective.
Yeah. Dan Blackwall down there says he played some riffs and it was kind of fun, kind of clunky rules, but fun setting and gameplay. Yeah.
Right.
Well, each their own. Some people think riffs is the greatest rule set in the universe. Whatever.
Right. And they're fine being wrong, but I think it's a fine set. Yeah. So one of your questions in here is, do we need another clone like Shadowdark or Swords and Wizardry, et cetera, et cetera? And I don't know. What do you mean by do we need? It's a weird question because we don't need any of these games.
That's the saturation part. That's the saturation question.
Yeah.
That's rephrasing of the saturation question.
Right. So we have a lot of games. No one needs to make another game. There's plenty of games that the entire world can play the hell out of them and be great. We wouldn't need it. We wouldn't need a new game made probably ever.
Yeah.
For everybody in the world to be able to play lots of role-playing games, because there's hundreds of them at this point, I think, aren't there? Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even that list that you have here,
retro role-playing.
Retro role-playing, it's very short and incomplete and a lot of dead links.
Yeah.
But if you just from the couple of years that we've been doing our show, new games and game material that are maybe not all OSR, but a lot of them are independent games. I mean,
yep.
We don't need, quote unquote, need anymore.
Jack the 71st says the players and the play decide if it's a bad game. Yeah. The players that are playing it at the moment. And what's bad for one group is not bad for the other. So yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So it's less a do we need or do we want? Because our hobby is a want, it's not a need.
Right. And so I imagine super OSR fans, which I'm more of a fan of the tone and the feel, and I love to look at them. But when I play them, I'm not always thrilled. I'm excited to play Hyperborea. We'll find out if it scratches all the itches that I want. I'm thinking it won't. We'll have a good time. We'll play it. I'm not sure that's where I probably won't settle in Hyperborea, but I might. I mean, I loved reading the book. The Player's Handbook was cool. It sounds great. And I had a great time with OSC too. So in the end, it may just be, gosh, dang it, Joe, it just may not matter. Meaning, it may not for us. It's like, just give me a game. I'll play it. I mean, unless the game just pisses me off, I'll play it.
Yes. Right? Let the market be what it is. Let our niche hobby be what it is. There are so many games. There's a game for everybody. Soon there will be one game for every person on the planet that plays in our hobby.
Yeah, I hate to give David Will this, even though he's my best friend now. He goes, Patrick, I keep saying this, make the game you want unless someone happened to make the game you want. Yeah, that's it. That's all you can do. Yeah. Halcyon H says, I don't think we're lacking in the number of games, rather the number of DMs. I'm shocked that people are offering. Wow, yeah, that's old news, but I'll be honest with you, Halcyon. Yeah, it still shocks me when I think about it. People get paid to DM.
Our game is entertainment.
True.
If it's participatory entertainment. Oh, hey. According to the Dungeon Minister, we just hit 400.
Thank you, sir. That's cool. I'm glad we did. Oh, I got to give something away then. Oh boy, oh boy.
Didn't I have a book I was going to give away?
Master Edition of ICRPG. That was it.
Yes.
Which is a fine, fast play game. All right, that was it, guys. So next week we'll be figuring out how to give it away. We hit 400. That's fantastic. So we'll be giving that away. Joe's got 2 copies, so I'll let Joe give his copy away. That's very cool. And then if we hit 500, Randy's giving away. I'll remind you of that sweet Paranoia box set. I'm surprised people aren't signing up just for that, dude. That is pretty dang awesome. It is thick and it's full. I got that at a yard sale. It's got everything, and then now there's an idea. Not a good one, but it's an idea.
I would make a dummy account and just say, "Ooh, look at that! A new subscriber."
Hardman says giveaway $1,000. It'll be fun. The Dungeon Minister, he's a little funny. He's got a little chuckly going on. I've been refreshing. I mean, the browser tab. I personally am not all refreshing. Right on. Sweet. We hit 400. That is so cool. Oh, David Gwill's offering to give away minis. Look at that. Well,
that's another thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a box set?
Yes, it is, and it's thick.
All right.
And it's got a lot of extra things in there. I'll show it again when we get closer to 500. I think it'll be a popular one. So let's come up with a way to do the 500 to 400 giveaway. We always like to do a little question and answer, some kind of poll, random guess. Wow. Look at this. Patrick Demo, I just found out from my stepdad that my white book, the white box, he has some of the original white box, I don't know which print, were previously owned by Dave Arneson.
Wow.
Dude, if you
White.
get that confirmed, you could sell that for a bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
go ahead.
So, not to beat a dead horse, but the do we need another clone is similar to the do we need minis? Since David brought up minis, do we need terrain and maps and stuff like that? And this dude, Dungeon Masterpiece, who has 57,000 stinking subs, is something that I think is stupid.
What did he say?
That minis and terrain and maps limit your imagination. They're bad for you to be gaming in. He's one of those folks, I think, that we had the whole toys versus theater of the mind discussion. But always need more dice. Jack the 71st. Always need more dice.
But that's his point, right? Do we need more dice? We want more dice.
Always. But yeah, you don't need that stuff. I hate when people tell other people that you don't need blah, 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 blah. I get to decide what I need. I think it's more like a want. So don't need any of this, but I sure want it. So
the Dungeon Masterpiece guy, I wonder from that statement then, could we extrapolate? Don't books and rules take away from your imagination?
Yeah, they limit you in scope because they have boundaries. I mean, why can't your possible your string of possibilities, instead of being 1 to 20 when you're trying to hit somebody, be 1 to 52? Mm-hmm. Use a deck of cards, or make it infinite. I don't know how you would do that, but or some other just number 38. Use chits instead of dice. I mean,
right, dude. What about well, I guess that's no longer a question. Joe's answered them all. Joe's answered all the questions with one thing. How about from the idea of, if we care to the whole parallel economy, competitive economy, should you think about doing something else, or just do what you're doing and hope it catches on?
We already have that in our industry. As far as all this, indie game developers, you don't have to buy from people who hate you, which is what we mean by the parallel economy. There are lots of people that you can find out whether or not, or that don't make a big deal about anything. They might not agree with your thoughts and ideas and all of that stuff, but they don't make a big deal out of it. It doesn't come up in their making of their games. I just saw, what was it, on Twitter? I mean, you had mentioned this thing about Jonathan Tweet.
Yeah.
And Rob Heinzu for 13th Age.
Yeah. Well, let me get some background on that.
No, I'm not going to go there.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to say, what I'm going to say is, some companies wear their sensibilities on their sleeve, and they tell you should believe what they do, and don't play my game if you don't believe what I believe.
Oh, you mean somebody like Evil Hat?
Right. And then other people like, who is it? They just, I'm trying to remember the name of the company, Castles and Crusades.
Yeah.
Is the game. So they said, our policy is we just make games.
Right.
And so you can go with them. You don't know what their game company stands for other than making good games. And that's the way it should be. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Ryan David hit it right. You don't have to be 100% aligned with everyone at the table and still have fun at the table. Yeah.
Right.
We're not.
You never are. You never are.
No,
even Randy and me aren't 100% aligned.
No, Joe's wrong on a few things. So, yeah.
Of course, that's what you would think, wrong person.
Hey, Hyperborean Heretic gave that idea of not playing with maps, not playing with minis. This might be a thing. The game naked mentality. Is that what you're talking about, Hyperborean Heretic?
I've never heard of that.
No, but even if it's something he made up, it sounds right. Right. So we don't use minis. We don't use maps. We don't use terrain. Heck, we don't use books or dice. We just role play. There are people that are probably like that.
Yeah, so it's a thespian night, which
Yeah.
whatever, do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to comment about that. I don't think it fits here, but if we're kind of, are we, I feel like we're kind of done with this topic, maybe not, but what I was talking about with 13th Age just kind of shocked me last week. I can't remember if it was on our stream or if it was on Max's stream, but Cat5 Gaming, oh, it was Legion of Mass Friday Chill stream, commented that I think it's a she was in a second edition 13th Age game. They're playtesting second edition. And I was like, wow, I would be intrigued if they're cleaning up the book and getting it better organized. I would buy that. And then I read this. This is one of their, and I've got the link. Rob Heinz, who I've met the guy. He seems nice enough. First of all, they're using sensitivity readers. They reference that. It said several people have wondered whether Jonathan Tweet is working on the second edition. Apparently, Jonathan Tweet got in some trouble by saying something. I forgot what it was on the second edition core book. The answer is yes. 13th Age core book was a collaborative between John and me, teaming up to create the game we wanted to play together. The same core team is creating 13th Age second edition. For the final manuscript, we'll be bringing in game's current line editor, a new sensitivity reader, and a new layout artist. Dude, that alone just makes me go, huh. So I doubt seriously if I'm going to be supporting 13th Age in the future. I just can't. I just can't. It's so weak.
I've liked 13th Age and they've done well, but they're not a very large company. They don't have a large market share. The expense of having sensitivity readers is just going to make their products more expensive.
Yeah.
It's silly. They could spend that money on product, having more words, having more art, or whatever, or making a less expensive product, or having good editing. Because they don't have good editing. 13th Age needed editing.
Oop, it's bad. It's bad. It's not really well organized. Well, it's not horrible, but trying to read that cleric entry is aggravating if you're a new player.
Right.
Hey, Crafty Matt just showed up. He said, you have me for the next hour. Then he's off to watch a live interview with Alexander Macris. We got to do stuff with him. We need to ring him of all the information we can. Yeah,
I agree.
Ryan. Me too, dude. I'm running 2 13th Age games at Cabin Con, brother. I love him. He says he's been a big advocate until this week. Yeah, till I read all that stuff, I'm like, and they talk about kin instead of race. They're getting rid of the word race again. And I'm just like, can you stop? Can you just stop? It's not a thing. Weirdos. Later, Dungeon Minister. It's good to see you, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Come by anytime.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, no. Bargle. Bargle killed Crafty Matt's daughter's character. That SOB in the BX rules. Did you read about Bargle? Bargle's he's the adventure in the basic expert rule book. The basic.
It strikes a chord, but I don't remember any details.
Yeah, I know. 13th Age is a humble. And the first edition of, like I said, 13th Age is a humble bundle. Yeah, that's a good way to get it. I like it. It won't be for everybody. If you really need if you're a big fan of OSR and don't want to get outside of that deadly, it's not deadly. I mean, characters are
not in the same vein.
They are
not that you can't be challenged, but you have lots of safety netting built into the game.
I would argue it's hardly dangerous. I mean, I think it's worse than 5e maybe in terms of less danger. Maybe.
Well, the assumption. It has an assumption that the PCs are the most important and should win. Quote unquote win for whatever that means with RPGs.
I may challenge that assumption this year because I'm starting to finish my 7th level game and then I'm going to add a new 1st level kind of Cabin Con campaign. Yeah, Larry, we will. Larry Elliott says we'll still play 13 Days, just use the original edition, live with bad editing. Yep.
Right. And editing is an issue in this niche hobby because most of the people making books can't afford editing because it's really expensive. Good editing is expensive. The only way to really get around that is to have a publishing house that does the editing for the various titles that come out of it. And I've actually thought it would be cool for Big Geek Emporium to offer that.
What's that?
If we could have somebody do editing as a service from our website.
Oh, yeah.
From Big
cool.
Geek Emporium.
Green Apple asks, how's my adventure going? The adventure is done. The art is done. I need to get that from Patrick. I haven't requested that. I need to pay Patrick. David Gwill, I think, has done all the reviewing he's able to do, and I'm going to go with it. I just need to put it together. So it's done. I need to get it printed. I need to have it ready for both Gen Con and for Big Geek Con, which is happening. There'll be a report of Big Geek Con at the end of the show.
Bruce says, and welcome, Bruce. Players always win. Whoever says that needs to be fed to a wood chipper. We can't have those people talking to kids or even taking responsibility for fake plants. Because fake plants don't need anything cared for.
No. Yes, I agree. Patty's Parlor editing is the least enjoyable. It makes I don't even want to look at it, but I got to figure out to piece it all together when I get the art from Patrick, and then I'm going to send that to Lulu, get some prints, and sell them. Or try to sell them. We'll see what happens. I may not sell them all. And put it on Big Geek Emporium, of course. You can get it for a song, man.
Longshot says he prefers human race or race of man, race of dwarves over species.
I'm good with that.
I think the overemphasis of what these words are for is real silly.
We had an episode probably a month or two back about that. I mean, Ancestry, I despise that one. I despise the Ancestry one.
It's clunky.
It's just clunky. And I can live with race because what's always been there, and species is probably more accurate, but it's fine.
I think the one way to do it and still sound cool, I think, you could open the section that talks about the various playable things, playable people. It's just the peoples of. Let's say you're playing on Kryn. The people of Kryn would, if you didn't want to use the word race, and that still sounds all right.
Yeah.
And I know some people don't want to call demi-humans people, but they're people. Whether you know, everything that they do what people do. They do all the things that people do.
Yeah.
There you go. I elicited a reaction from Herr Max. Elves aren't people.
Could they be good folk?
But if you don't want to use the word race for one reason or the other, I think the people of is good. But I'm fine with race too. I think it's silly to be focused on that.
Yeah. Patty asked a question. I don't know if I heard a little bit about it. He says, no, that's not it. Earlier, where's Patty's question? I thought it was pretty interesting. Did you guys see that Venger is subsidizing chalk zines? One of the reasons was to pay for editors. Yeah. I think real editors will be expensive.
Yeah, it is.
All right. You want to tell me do the things?
Do the things. Now, I got some subscribe. I got some advice, and I'm going to try to follow. I'm going to pass that on to you after we're done here.
Okay.
But yes, do the things. Like, subscribe, share, follow, all those things that you do on the platforms where you view or listen to this show.
Right on.
Do all the things. Help us out. Even if you're not going to support us monetarily, definitely subscribe and definitely share. Share us with your friends.
Yes. And your enemies. We like that.
And, it won't be just us that appreciate it.
Nope.
The chat will appreciate it. The folks that come in here and joke around and talk about what we're talking about and give us some extra tidbits to talk about, they'll like it too, because there'll be more people here to talk with.
Yeah. Chat with. No kidding. And we got a lot of folks on here like Patty's Parlor and David Gwill and several other folks that make their own stuff. Patrick Demo, they're designers in their own right, and they could have more people through us. That'd be great. The second topic comes from partially. Yep. Oh, sorry. Bruce is answering. Halcyon H's. Yes, it is called Niambe. I think I have it. I had it at one time. That's an African-based D20 game.
Yeah.
So the second topic was, and I brought this up, I think, in Legion of Myth last week in the chill stream, is watching the DnD movie via streaming. Does that support WoTC?
Of course it does.
It does. If you watch
they paid, or people paid them for streaming rights.
Or people paid, do they pay WoTC or do they pay?
No, what I'm saying is the streaming companies, the companies who stream the movies, pay the folks who make the movies to have the right to stream. Now, there's also royalties. I don't know how it specifically works out, but I know that they have to pay for that right. So at the very least, the more interest that is shown to Hasbro or WoTC properties, the more they'll be able to sell those rights to different companies to be able to stream or to play in theaters.
Yeah, I do agree with Bruce. Watching it on what's the high seas? Don't pay to see the movie. That's the part I agree with. I don't know what the high seas are.
Matey.
Oh, okay. So I probably won't do that. I'm probably not going to watch it. There's a part of me that would like to, because I'm a D&D nutbag. I want to see what they did, but I've heard so much about it that I'm probably not going to do it. And I had linked to Joe a couple of people, and people have seen Shadowdark's given a review. The Critical Drinker has given a review, and they both gave it a thumbs up. Not like it was fabulous, but that it was good. Greg Gillespie, the author of The Barrel Maze, gave a great review against it, and the Dungeon Craft Professor DM also did. I don't think so Darth is kind of trying to clarify what you said. It depends. Is the streaming site have a right to stream it? I know a couple of sites that I can watch movies and TV shows right after the release without issue. There are, Professor Dungeon Master said that Paramount paid WoTC for the right to make the movie. So but I'm sure WoTC gets some kind of cut. Hasbro gets some kind of cut of the streaming money. Yeah, and he called it.
They do get a cut.
Yeah. And I'm pushing. Yeah, this is interesting. So Crafty Matt says it's not D&D. It's Guardians of the Dungeon. I've already seen this movie. I've watched Marvel make it for the last 10 years. That's fair. That's fair. That's what I've heard too. But I like Guardians of the Galaxy. I won't watch the third one. I have no interest in yet another movie pushing the message, even wearing a hollowed out D&D skin suit. That's fair, David Guile. And I'm done with WoTC too. I mean, I think with Halcyon H, he says, I'm done with WoTC unless they change policies. Product quality is a hard no. Patrick was taken to see it this weekend. He think it was good, but then again, it's WoTC. It's a hollow victory. I had heard a lot of people on the bad side. Gillespie's got quite a list. I don't fully agree with everything Gillespie said, even though he's seen the movie, I assume, but I haven't. But I do think he makes some good points. I'm sure, Joe, you have no desire to see it whatsoever.
No, but I'm also going to say that I won't cajole anybody about it.
No,
I'm just I'm not going to spend my entertainment dollars on Wizards of the Coast properties.
True. So everybody,
I don't really want to spend it on Hollywood in general. It's a cesspool.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody watching the show, I don't care if you watch it or not, you can like it. There's a guy on Facebook. I think David Gwill responded to it too. I can't think of his name, but he posted he finally watched it and that he doesn't want to hear anybody dissing it, any kind of negative comments about it. It was great and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, as soon as you say that, he did it on Conservative RPG. I said, as soon as you say that, someone's going to respond, and everybody has their right. You have the right to despise it even without seeing it. I got into a bit of a back and forth, not a big one. Someone said, oh, but if you've not seen it, you can't speak intelligently about it. I said, okay, but I can use this. I can use logic and say, here's what's been made all these years. Here's what WoTC's doing. They've been following down this path, and even their directors and people said, yeah, this is what it's going to be about. Even if they don't, quote unquote, emasculate men, that's what they said they did. So why should I want to go see it?
Right. And it could be good. It could be a decent movie. I'm not going to fail to watch it because of its whether it's good or not. I'm just not giving money to Wizards of the Coast. That's pretty much it.
That's where I'm falling. I may watch it one day if a certain friend of mine gets the DVD, gets the electronic version, and puts it on his Movies Anywhere app. If he buys it, I might watch it then, because then I know I'm not giving him any money. But I don't think I can watch it any other place because I just can't stand WoTC. But it would have to be absolutely free, no money toward WoTC whatsoever. But even then, I'm not excited because what I've heard from Gillespie is it sounds like it's just not very great. And even the Critical Drinker and Shadowverse, you could even see them as they were. If you watch their reviews, they were thinking hard about how to say what was good about it.
Yeah, and there's yeah, I can see that.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Hardman says 125 million worldwide. All they got to do is make 175 million more, and they'll break even.
Estimated.
Yeah, well, usually, what I've heard, I know nothing about the movies. That
Right.
those big budget films, whatever it costs them to make it, you need to double that with what they probably have spent in advertisement.
Right, and that's a kind of a rough general rule, but it's still it's estimated. But what could happen is, and some movies do this. They may not break even on theater tickets, but over time from streaming, they might make up for it. And yeah, here's the other thing.
Good point.
I wouldn't watch for free because, like everyone else here, this is David Will here. I'm guessing I have plenty of other things I could be doing, stuff to write, movies to watch, games to play, books to read. There's other stuff to do rather than give your time to Wizards of the Coast.
And Crafty Matt makes a good point. For him, it's not even about WoTC. It's about being the same formula of hero movies that I've been watching for so long. Yeah, it's that hero fatigue. I just have no interest. I want to see new formulas, new story beats. I want to see a new take on something, or at least a twist on an old story.
It's mass market. They made something for mass market appeal.
Yeah. And a friend of mine watched it the other night, and he told me that apparently Elminster is in it, and he's either a dark-skinned Middle Eastern guy or a black guy. I mean, it's not shocking they would do that. I mean,
No, that's what they do.
Yeah.
The same kind of, yeah, whatever. Every artistic representation of Elminster I've ever seen, he's a white dude.
An old white guy.
Old white guy.
Yep.
So, who cares?
Yeah.
And the fellow who wrote it, can't remember his name now again.
Ed Greenwood.
Yeah, Ed Greenwood probably said, yeah, that's fine.
Well, and Paramount, the people that made the movie, they said they didn't go into it making a D&D movie. They just made a cool action movie and threw in D&D isms into it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, whatever.
They bought a skin.
Yes.
When they bought the rights. Which I don't really care for because, they buy the customer base and then don't make the thing that is related to, what they make isn't really related to the thing that it's on. It's superficial. It's called D&D, but it's not D&D.
Right. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, you found it, Joe.
So someone, Mr. Max is asking, didn't Greenwood base Elminster on himself? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Elminster was pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he's always been depicted as an old white guy with a flowing white beard since forever. But
And they even
because
used
we
his
live
last
in
name.
the times,
His last name, I don't know if you know, Elminster has a last name. It's Omar, Aumar. Almer or Omar. That's always been Elminster's last name, apparently. But I guess they went with Omar. That sounds kind of Middle Eastern. Elminster Omar.
He's in Middle Eastern from a fantasy world.
Correct. No, I'm just saying it sounds sort of Omar sounds like a Middle Eastern.
Oh, sure.
But it is. I don't know, but it's still funny. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I think all four of those, the Shadowversity, Critical Drinker, Greg Gillespie, Dungeon Craft's really good to look at. Now, Dungeon Craft had three things. The big problems he thought with the movie were this. They do the movies the same way. They make their own world with their own they make their own characters that nobody cares about. Instead of going after Dritz, Dragonlance characters, I mean actual real characters that people might know. He thought that was a big flaw in the movie. And it's always been the case.
Who did?
Professor Dungeon Master. He thought that's a big flaw.
Right. I'm going to have to disagree somewhat.
Yeah.
The new crowd, the new D&D crowd, they don't know who these people are.
Really? They don't know. Well, I guess not. WoTC doesn't care.
I mean, not to a large degree. Those guys would have more cachet with folks in our age category.
True. Which might be why he said that, because he's in our age category.
Right.
Yeah. He also mentioned he thought the marketing was bad. He thought it was bad. He said he thought they shouldn't have gone to Comic-Con. It's not even a comic convention. It's really more about the next big Marvel movie. And they should have went to Gen Con. That's where they should have premiered it. But that's because they don't care about the base, really. They don't. Yeah, whoever made the movie, if they just was wearing D&D as a skin suit, then they don't really care about the base. And he was a little upset that the OGL scandal seems to have not affected it. He thinks that has affected it a little, but not that much. I think they dodged a bullet on all that. When that horse crap they tried to pull, people are already just forgiving them.
Right. So the folks that are in our camp, some on our side of the fence, lots of them are still going to go see the D&D movie because some of them are going to hate watch it. But our niche of a niche where we don't want to give WoTC any money is a very tiny portion.
Yes.
Overall, and still not that big of a portion of the OSR crowd. I guarantee you 75% of the OSR crowd or more, maybe up to 90% will go see the D&D movie.
Yes. And I think only half of them will be glad that they did.
Because most of them are going to say something along the lines of, I'm just going to go watch the movie for what it is.
Right.
It's a movie. It's going to be fun. It says D&D, and I'm not going to care about the other stuff. Except
when they do care about it later on for something else. Because they do. Those same people will.
Right.
But, but I don't want to pick on them because the truth is they can do what they want. Now, this thing, our buddy Patrick had commented to me about this, and Professor Dungeon Master stated this as a drawback, and Greg Gillespie thought it was fine. And I think I'm with Gillespie. At the end, it says based on Hasbro's Dungeons and Dragons. And I think that's fine. Some people are mad that they didn't include Professor DM and Patrick, if I don't want to speak for him, were mad they didn't include Gygax and Arneson. But I'm actually glad they didn't, because it's not something they would have produced.
Yeah, I get that. There might have even been some legal reason why they couldn't put or they couldn't put Gygax or Arneson on there.
Probably because if they did, they have to pay them. That's probably what it is.
Sure.
We have to pay them. But I think it's appropriate that it says based on Hasbro's D&D, because it is. It's WoTC's D&D.
Yeah.
It's not the original D&D. And they do own D&D. And so it is their current name. And so it is the current game. It's not what it was with TSR. Heck, I don't think it's even what it was in 3rd edition. 3rd edition was at least closer to being something halfway,
Yeah.
Like the original.
Much closer to the source.
Max Legion would disagree. Patrick, you're welcome to your opinion. I think you can make a comment. He says, if you look at it that way, I suppose he can agree. You don't have to agree with me, because I'm just saying it doesn't bother me because I think it's really exactly what they are. I don't know, Arn Man. Did they put Thaco the clown in there? I don't know. They probably should
I
have.
wouldn't be surprised.
It'd have been
They
nice.
emasculated the male characters in there, so on purpose, because the directors love emasculating male characters for some stupid reason.
You should watch Greg Gillespie's review. I would encourage everybody to watch it. He's got a pretty thorough one. I don't agree with every statement, but he does point out how at the beginning they're getting Chris Pine and Rodriguez's character out of jail, and he's sitting down knitting in the prison floor. There you go.
And apparently, Chris Pine is all great with emasculating his
Yeah, that's
characters.
what he said. But I mean, he didn't say it was all over the place. And of course, they have, if there's no halfling people, they had a halfling dude, and they had a tiefling who I believe was a half human, half demon. So I thought that was racist. That's what he said. He's got a good point.
In one of the articles that you have in the outline,
yeah,
mentions the emasculation, but I think they're confusing it with heroism. So they say they want their heroes to be challenged and maybe become heroic or whatever, not just be heroes from the start. And I think that they might be conflating terminology, perhaps. Of course, I haven't seen any of it, so I don't know.
Yeah. And he thought, and I don't know what he went on about cultural appropriation, which I guess because since they seem to hate the white, he pointed out how every guy getting their butt kicked or who was the bad guy or who was a complete worthless in a fight was a white dude, which is probably a thing.
What? There's only one white guy in the whole movie, isn't there? From what
Chris
I could
Pine,
tell.
No, Chris Pine. I forgot. Yeah. And Gillespie even said that. Patrick said the biggest BA of the movie was a male paladin. True, I get it, but apparently
he though? He seemed kind of effeminate to me.
I thought he looked that way.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, in the preview, but he does do a cool move in the preview and kill some dude with a fiery sword. And Hugh Grant was in the movie too. Yeah, but he talked about that, and I think there's some parts of Gillespie's review I didn't quite get. He might be he's a PhD, so he might be above my pay grade. Yeah,
Hugh Grant, another not very masculine male.
They say he did a good job.
Yeah, he never plays anybody very masculine. Most of the people he plays are fairly light. I'm not saying in a bad way necessarily, but he never plays anybody that masculine.
Patrick disagrees, and he saw it. He said, "Nope, Paladin's a stereotype. He is not effeminate." So
no, he certainly looks like it.
It could just be the way it's. Well, that was something. I think that was something he talked about. Gillespie talked about. He wanted to see and this is his opinion, a used universe, things looking rough, looking worn, and he thought everybody's hair was coiffed, and he compared it to Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, whose hair is always a mess, and his clothes, all the clothes looked beat up, and so did the orc stuff. And he said, in this movie, it wasn't so great.
Can't they find anybody with a square jaw? I mean, someone who looks
manly,
tough. Nobody looks tough. They are just, they look like underwear models. I mean, not very masculine underwear models.
Yeah, their clothes look really nice and stuff when they're walking around, but I mean, I don't know. So, and apparently the little wizard boy, I heard from my friend that he outduels a lich. He's a little wizard boy who's like the nephew or grandson of Elminster or something. So, I'm giving spoilers. Sorry, because I heard about it. That's what I heard. Patrick can confirm or deny or not say anything. Better yet, Patrick, don't say anything. Maybe Randy's wrong. So that's what I heard from my friend.
Whenever we've played D&D and I've been a wizard, I never wanted to face down a lich, ever.
Because Joe knew I would cheat.
Because I would be fine showing up after the lich was dead, because there's got to be a spell book around.
Even I couldn't keep that from you.
Correct, because you cannot hurt liches with magic. Right?
I don't know. I think they're susceptible, but back in the day they were highly magic resistant. You 1E, 2E players it's been so long.
And they have all the undead things. They're undead, so a lot of your spells, a lot of magic doesn't work simply because they're not living creatures. So whatever. Yeah. It's a lot, but this is a lot of nitpicking. It's a lot of what I think is good for me, what I want in my entertainment. So that's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
I think here there is a definite lack of manly heroes.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
I wish I'd put this link in there. Call Me Chato has his most latest video talks about that. He talks about comparing the old people that even Clint Eastwood, that era, those guys, and later. There's a lot of guys, Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's not Chuck Norris. It's a good, bad, or ugly movies, neither here nor there. Sly Stallone. They were manly dudes.
Right. You don't have folks like that nowadays. Not really. There are exceptions, like Reacher.
Yep.
Not the Jack Reacher Cruise movies, because he's not. I mean, he has to take a lot of steroids to look masculine. If he doesn't, he looks like a small boy. But they have to really play it up for him to look like. I mean, he's only 5'2".
Yeah.
And Jack Reacher is 6'6" or 8" in the books. The guy that they play him on the Amazon Prime show is only 6'1" or 6'2", but he looks gigantic compared to everybody.
Yeah.
So he's got a square jaw. He looks all manly. He's tough,
and
he plays a tough guy. And today they don't want tough guys; they want sensitive guys with, underwear models.
True. Oh well. So the conclusion is, yeah, that's true. We are. Bruce says, "How big is Geekus showing off his Michigan 6-foot tall breeding?" That's right, dude. We're both over 6 foot. That's how we do.
Yeah, but it's more Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana.
We're from Indiana.
That's where the truth is from, baby. Michigan's cool,
corn fed.
Yeah, corn fed. That's right, baby. That's how we do it. I'm a small guy.
I mean, I can't look at small men and
think they're manly.
Right.
That's not true. I've seen plenty of small dudes I thought looked really awesome. Bruce Lee was small. He looked pretty manly. Dude, come on now. You know what he could do.
He was smooth. But
He'd be a lot to handle. He'd be a lot to handle.
You do that. Put this on his head.
Okay.
Negate.
Yeah.
Negate kung fu.
Until he grabs your hand and breaks every bone in your hand until that happens. And you're like, oh man, you're tougher than I thought.
That would never happen.
No, we can whoop. I know I could whoop Bruce Lee today. They pulled him out of the ground.
Yeah, smack him all over the place.
I will not say this, but I will post it. Joe Pesci, he would something us up. Probably.
No, he wouldn't.
He would Joe. He'd whoop Joe sideways.
No, he wouldn't.
Joe would have no chance.
He's tiny. he plays a good tough guy because of the camera angles, and they make him look like he can. Huh?
Am I funny to you? Do I make you laugh?
He's that tall.
I know. Yeah. Patrick's right. I got to get Bruce. Bruce is loving Profion. Profion's acting was so hammy. A Jew couldn't watch the movie without becoming ceremonially unclean. That's pretty funny.
I don't get it, but okay.
Oh, you don't? Because hammy is pork.
Oh, hammy.
Jews can't eat pig.
Okay, that's a dad joke. That's a dad joke.
Good joke. Excellent, Patrick. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro.
I was focused on the Jew part, not on the ham.
Religious humor. They ain't hurting nobody, defending nobody.
No.
You're a Jew and get offended about that. That's on you. You're a weirdo. So
right in Casino.
Yeah.
Halcyon says Casino. As far as Joe Pesci, they made him look super tough.
Yeah.
Until they sent actual normal sized guys standing next to him. Yeah. You're like, oh, he's not very tall.
No. Dude, Patrick may have won the comment of the day, though. That's hilarious.
Agreed.
Bruce says, I spit out my supper. Props to Patrick Demo. I have to eat some bacon now. Yeah, I feel you. Oh, well. So I guess that means Joe and I are going to go see the movie this weekend.
Except no.
Okay, except no, yeah, I don't think so. But if I somehow get it free, I will probably watch it. But that'll have to be it. So,
I mean, I would not be fun. I would not be fun to go watch this movie.
No, you would be.
And I had to apologize to my wife when we went to see the more recent Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
because I had a kind of a chip on my shoulder already.
Right.
And I was, as soon as, everything they did wrong, I was like, no, that's stupid. That's stupid. That loud in the movie theater. So nobody in the theater was having a good time. So.
Yeah. You mean you're not pumped about the next big trilogy with bringing back Rey as a Jedi Master? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I saw some mumblings about that.
We'll see if that happens.
I don't care now.
No, I agree.
Oh,
Star Wars is dead.
Speaking.
Yeah.
If you can either do the audio book or paper book, Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
It is kind of a love letter to Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
They have the only thing I would say that they do a little too much of is injecting kind of Middle Eastern
what's that high-pitched noise? Is that coming from you?
That's the dog. That's
Shoot
Elizabeth. She's whining because nobody's paying attention to her.
That's a high-pitched whine, dude.
But no, so they inject some kind, dislike of Middle Eastern culture, or at least of the Islam, militant Islam.
Mm-hmm.
It's prominent in the bad guys because it involves humanity. That's they call it the diaspora, kind of like the Jewish diaspora.
Gotcha.
From Earth. Earth is ancient, but humanity comes from Earth. So, no, because these guys aren't human. Yeah, you have to listen to it.
Tonka Todd says,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. He said,
yeah. So Galaxy's Edge.
Got it. Galaxy's Edge, and you said it's an audiobook only.
No, you can get it in paperback too.
Okay. Tonka said he would watch me and you play pretend with minis before he would watch the WoTC show. Good man. And Bruce says he'd be happy to ship them painted figurines from my shelves to see that. Watching Joe and Randy RP on a map table with scenery. Well, you guys probably going to see that. It's probably going to happen.
You're sweetening the deal.
Yeah. You want to send us stuff, Bruce. We got plans. Hyperborea is going to be displayed on the YouTubes forever. You're going to get to see me DM. Bruce threw the gauntlet down last week. Said, Randy, put your money where your mouth is. Show me some of your DMing skills. Well, I'm going to. So it's going to happen. So it'll be fun.
Yes.
We'll probably want us to play Risus. I know that game. I don't know anything about it though. That's a little independent game, right? Risus? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Call it playtime with Randy and Joe.
Something makes me think that that's probably not the best title. We can make it a working title.
Yes. Hyperborean masters at play.
That would be false advertising, but we can go with that.
Hyperborean rookies at play. Yeah, sweet. All right, dude. I think everybody should pound the like button. And
yes, have a jihad on that thing.
Subscribe to us. Let's move into the last segment tonight here. Well, not the last segment, but the last topical segment. Oh, you're going to tell them to subscribe. Do that first. Yeah, I'm with you.
Subscribe. Do all the things. Do the things.
Yes, sir. So, Cabin Con is upon us. A few weeks away. Going to have a few new faces. I got to thinking. I talked to Tim Scott. He's not here tonight, but I talked to him last Thursday. He was getting a little bit overwrought about how many games he was going to run. All these games, he got to prep all these games. I said, Tim, if you prep 2 games, you're good to go. Run it multiple times. Now, I said that from a guy I'm prepping 3, But I was thinking 2 should be enough. Well, I'm not totally sure that would be the case. For the 4 days, if we do 3 slots
I
every
got
day.
to take the dog out. I got to take the dog
Oh,
out.
okay.
Did you just hear the bark?
I did.
Yeah, she's right in my face barking. So
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I will try to carry the load.
Entertain the folks.
I will try. So in Cabin Con, I don't know if that's entertaining or not. Right. Patrick says prepping 2 games with 10 DM should be enough. Here's my. Now we all know, all us Cabin Conners know, we got about 20 guys going. We have 3 slots a day. We have enough to have 4 games going every slot. We probably never will have 4 games because a lot of people just take their time off. They don't get into, Halcyon H, he has prepped 3. That's good. Yeah. He has made me big. I am now big. Oh, gosh, that's not good. That's not good, Bruce. I can't believe I read that. You turd. That was cruel. You made me read that. I know what that means now. That's not a very nice statement. But anyway, so here's my idea. So 3 slots every day. If we have 4 games every slot, that's 12 games every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's 36 games. On Sunday, if we manage to run 1 extra slot, which every once in a while happens, then that would be 4 extra games we would need. That would be assuming everybody plays every slot, which they do not. And so we would need 40 possible unique games. Unique in the sense that, it could be the same adventure. Let's say you ran Keep on the Borderlands, but you would have a unique set of players each time that you ran it. So I'd call that a unique game. Yes, correct, Patrick. Every slot must have 5 guys. They do not have to. I'm saying in order we could run at most, unless you had a game that ran, I guess, 3 people, but now we're getting off variants. The most likely scenario is 1 DM, 4 players for a total of 5. So 40 games, right? If we had that, then I think we're set. If we have 5 DMs that run 2 games each, I agree, Patrick. Slots, he means slots. 5 DMs who both prepared to run 2 games and prepared to run them twice. So each DM could run 4 different games. So 4 different slots. That's only 20 games. But it always seems like we have more games than takers. That is, I hear people saying, I'm willing to run, and then their game doesn't run. Cabin Con, Tunkata. This is a small little thing. This is our 17th year coming up in Michigan. We're just our friends get together. It's not really a convention. It is a convention, but it's more like just friends getting together for a weekend and playing games. So it's not an official con. I will be talking about Big Geek Con, which is going to be an official con, and it's happening. So at least I believe it's going to be happening. I'm getting the place. I'm hoping people will buy tickets. So when Cabin Con's the first weekend in May, so 4th through the 7th. Anyway, I put a little, let's call it a survey on Facebook to my Cabin Con friends, and a few replied. And it seemed, like I said, the most common was that most DMs prep 1 or 2 adventures. Some will do 3, some will do 4. And then most of them like to run their games max 1 or 2 times over the 4-day weekend. So probably 2 slots at most, because it would probably get boring. If you're running Keep on the Borderlands, you might get bored if you ran it 4 times or 6 times over the adventure over the weekend, which would be hard to do because you would need different players. Most people they like to play out of the 3 slots that are going on each day. Most folks like to play 2. We had a handful that said they wanted to play all of them. Long shot. Good night. I'm sorry if I'm boring you guys. And then over the 4-day period, most people would like to squeeze in 6 or 7. But in the 4-day period, the most you could play is 9. No, not slot, you could run 10 would be the most you could run. I also proposed the idea, would anybody stay later on Sunday to have a second slot? Because I'm planning on running a rather long game on Sunday and might need people to stay till 4 or 6 p.m. But long story short, this is just me and the players. I didn't get a lot of data, not a lot of takers. It was only a few days. I think I put it up on Monday. Halcyon says 2 of his games have a part A and B, so that's technically 4 games. That would count as 4 different games, of which you could run those twice, and that would be 8 slots that you would cover. So that's pretty cool. It's okay, long shot. Have a good night, buddy. I was just saying, if you were bored, I wasn't offended. Got to get up early too, so not sure how long we'll be on time. This might be a short night. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I don't know how interesting this is to other people, but our cabin con is more of a friendly thing. So I think I'm going to slide into the next. What is that? Bruce says, that's like the second best thing to tell a man. I hope you have a great preparation of endeavoring and making money tomorrow. The only better blessing is make more kids with that wife. Yes. Kids are arrows in your quiver. That's correct. That's what the good book says. More kids, bigger quiver. You are blessed. Make them babies. Anyway, since Joe is gone and I have no idea when he's coming back, I'm going to move into the last segment. I want to talk about Big Geek Con. So I have contacted the person who is in charge at the Sheraton. We are going to meet this week on Wednesday. I'm going to put a down payment down. I'm going to see if I can't get enough rooms to possibly allow 80 people to attend, but I got to see where the numbers are. And we will put the tickets on Big Geek Emporium, I hope this week. If not, next week. Let's say sometime next week. And if we get enough takers, then the con will happen. There is Hasbro and Heretic says, is there a landing page for Big Geek Con? No, not yet. But thank you for the idea. We are kind of small time. I will talk to Joe. I imagine it's going to be a word of mouth thing for us. If you guys tell people, we will advertise on Facebook. But honestly, I am shooting the price for admission. I want it to be $30 or less. That's kind of the target number I'm shooting for. I wouldn't feel right charging much more than that, but I got to cover my costs. So I'm going to go in with the idea of $30 a head. And I'm thinking right now I would need at least 40 attendees to make that happen. And if it gets much higher than that, I could propose that price. But if we have a 2-day or maybe a 3-day con, right now I'm planning 2, but I would love to push it to 3. That will be September 22nd, 23rd. There'll be more posting. I would love to make this a 3-day con. I would love to just charge $30. That would be one fee. You show up, you play games all weekend for $30. That's what I would want. Meaning, nope, there would not be a price per game. There would not be any. It's not a per day price. You pay once and you're in. No, not a dumb question at all. The town is Saginaw, Michigan. We will be posting. There will be flyers and such. I want to see how many of our people that watch Biggest Geekus and my friends sign up first, and then I am going to post flyers all over this area. And Saginaw, Michigan is the place. It is going to be next to the hotel. It's got a Uno's attached to it. You're downtown in a very nice area of Saginaw, and there's all kinds of food and stuff nearby. September, the weather should be nice. Michigan is pretty groovy at the end of September. Probably temperatures, what would you say, guys, in the mid 70s to high 60s, probably by late September. So it'll be a really nice place to come to and game. I hope to have more later, but I'm going to try to finalize it. And as I said, to clarify, I put my money down, put my money where my mouth is. And then if you guys could Those who could show up would be great. If we can get 40, we can break even. Bruce says, do you have a home game store where people can contact them should supplies be needed? Oh, we do. Let me put that in the flyer. We have a couple of game stores nearby, a couple that I would suggest. We have one really close in Bay City that I'm not sure that I would suggest, but maybe it's a personal thing. It's probably the most well-stocked. Bay City is next to Saginaw. That's a good idea. So let me get the place set in stone, and I will definitely take these ideas to heart. A landing page, a local game store. I'd already thought about flyers. I already have one kind of made up already. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna run at least one game. I may run 2 or more multiple times. I want to run one for some kids. I want to offer a kid slot, anybody that's 14 or younger, to play at my table. Probably something, either a 13th age or a OSC game. There's Joe.
Sorry.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Bruce says contact the local neighborhood stores that you know and see if they want to do a merch room. Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I may even contact the Palladium guys and see if they might want to come up for that. We'll see. We moved on to Big Geekland stuff. I've been telling them about my plans for Big Geek Con.
Oh, cool.
And Hyperborean Heretic had a great idea. He said, he asked this question, is there going to be a landing page for Big Geek Con? What does that mean, Joe? I think I know what it means, but I thought I'd wait till you got here to kind of help me understand what he means by that.
Just a website, essentially. Okay. I mean, so we could, it would be something like biggeekcon.com, and it would just be a single page. Is pretty much all you would need anyway.
Yeah. A web page. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, kids at the con, Bruce. He's making a little funny here. Yes, it's going to be a family event. No super sexy cosplay. We're going to have just people show up, play some games, have a good time. Very low.
There's going to be kids there, family friendly.
Which is one of the reasons I want to keep it at 30. I mean, I want to find a way to make it $30. I just don't think it's such a big event. Like, Venger Con, I respect Venger. $100 was too much for what that was. I mean, I understand that's what he might have had to charge. It was too much, in my opinion. It's just too much money for showing up to game for 2 or 3 days. I mean, and that's all there was just gaming. There was nothing else to do. So, we had to travel, but not knocking it. Me and my buddies had a great time. It was fun. Like I said, we'll have to get enough people to make it worth that, because 30 folks would make it. If we had 40 folks at 30 a head, we're looking at $1,200. That would cover my cost. If I added another room, we would need possibly another 20 people. So maybe 40 to 60 people. So we will set a number that will be minimum for us to run this thing. And if it doesn't run, if everybody buys the virtual tickets and it doesn't happen, we'll refund your money, and no harm, no foul. So. And
you are very pixelated right now.
I am.
Your videos kind of, you're stuttering a little bit. Might be just on my end. I don't know if folks are watching. Randy looks all smudgy.
I will, Mr. Elliott. I will contact you after the show for sure. Yeah. But am I looking smudgy to you folks, or does my video look okay? Because
do you connect to your
James White says Digi Randy, so maybe I'm looking weird. I don't know.
Yeah, do you connect to your internet via Wi-Fi when you're doing this?
I do. Is that bad?
Yeah, that is. You need to be wired.
I need to be hardwired. Okay.
Hardwired.
Okay. So I'm having some issues. Sorry, guys. Did you have any reports on Big Geek Emporium?
Well, we launched a new look this past last week. Mm-hmm. We still have some technical issues that we're working through, and we're going to be having an update of sorts sometime tomorrow. There are some people who are experiencing an issue with vendors are having an issue. Some vendors are having an issue with being connected to their products before the new update went through. So once we update tomorrow, then we'll work on fixing that, because I cannot reproduce that error. When I log in, everything is visible. I have a dummy vendor account that I used for testing, and I can see all of the things. So
Darth says he checked it out this last weekend. It looks good.
I appreciate that. I've gotten mostly good reviews. Got one person, like I said last week, one person that's kind of irate about stuff, but that's it. I do have some issues to work out still.
Bruce says Randy using the data from his US cellular phone. Not quite. I'm on a Mac, bro, but I guess the Wi-Fi. I've always used Wi-Fi, so I guess maybe it's not the best. I'll have to get hardwired. He said a Cat 5 cable should fix it.
Yeah, as long as you have that access to it in your room there.
Yeah,
or you can.
I do. I'm in the room where the cables comes to the floor. I can.
Yeah, so yeah, you should. Yeah,
so I need to buy something to connect it to the computer when I stream. So I will attempt to improve that. So get hardwired. Right on. I will do it. Okay. I think I already mentioned, well, someone asked about the adventure. Like I said, I just got to put the pictures, put the art with the text, and my adventure's ready. Send it to Lulu, get it printed, send it to Joe, put it on Big Geek Emporium for $1 million. No, maybe not. Maybe a nickel. Walmart connection. Dang, dudes. Come on. You guys are killing me. Dar says Randy needs to upgrade from his Walmart connection. Weak sauce. Oh, well. All right.
100-foot. Bruce. Bruce says a 100-foot cable fixes that, Joe. Always stay connected. That way you can make fun of 12-year-olds when you smoke them on Fortnite.
You know it. If I only knew what that game was, I would smoke them so bad. No, I've heard of Fortnite. I just don't play it. Oh. All right, man. Well, you ready to get on out of here? It's been an early night.
Yeah, it is kind of an early night. You burned through it.
Well, you missed the Cabin Con discussion, which I had with just some of the Larry and Patrick made some comments, and so did Halsey and H. So,
hey, you cleared up. We're getting ready to quit, and now you cleared up.
That's how Max worked, dude.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have gotten a whole lot of comment out of me, except I'm going to be there. I'm going to play. I've got the week prior week, and then Monday through Wednesday off. I got 3 weeks off in a row, and Cabin Con's right in the middle of that. So I should be able to, if I bring something, I should be able to work on it on the week prior. So
okay,
we'll see if it works out.
All right, man. So you want to get us out of here?
I do. Hold on just a moment.
Joe is gathering his tools.
Once again, do the thing. If you haven't subscribed already, if you're watching right now, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, and thank you, and share, and comment, write reviews, follow us out there in podcast land, because we will be putting the podcast audio out there fairly soon afterwards. I try to do it within the hour. Sometimes it is delayed for a day. So most of the time it gets up pretty fast.
Right.
So if you'd like to support the show, do all those things, do the things. We have a few ways for you can support our show with your cash if you want. You can head over to PayPal, Streamlabs, Anchor, Ko-Fi, and Patreon. It's all Biggest Geekus. So search for Biggest Geekus, and on all those platforms, you will find some way to support us with your dough.
Yeah.
You can head over to Biggest Geekest Podcast, but why would you? I haven't updated it in a year or two. If you have questions or comments or suggestions, you can send some email to the geeks at biggestgeekestpodcast.com. And if you want some cool indie game paraphernalia, digital paraphernalia, head over to biggeekemporium.com. It is a work in progress. Please don't mind our dust. Please excuse our dust, as they say in the construction industry.
Right.
And yeah, do all those things.
Right on.
Anything else from you, Mr. Randy?
I think I'm good tonight, bro.
All righty. Oh, this is Joe.
And I'm Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.